Do you find flirting hard? Do you want to hit on someone sometimes, but you just have no clue what to say? Well, people in the 1700s felt your pain. In fact, those in the Georgian era felt it so much that they published whole books on the topics of pickup lines and what to say in all those romantic instances when words leave you. And today I'm going to be sharing with you here some of their advice on how to win over the love of your life with gallantry and romance. My name is Ellie Dashwood, and this is my channel where I talk about classic literature and history. If you like either of those things, please subscribe. So, this week we're going to be going into the best Georgian flirting tips for gentlemen, and next week we're going to be talking about the flirting tips for ladies. We're going over guys first because, of course, in the Georgian era of the 1700s, it was very much expected that the guy would make the first move, and so pretty much all the girls' lines are in response to whatever the guy is saying to her. But these are all coming from some very interesting guides published in the 1700s that obviously sold very well. One of them I was looking at was in its 12th edition, which means that all 11 editions before it must have sold out because publishing books back then was very expensive and would not have been done had it not been selling well. But basically what these guides were these big, long lists of romantic lines for different situations. And the guides encouraged people to essentially memorize these lines so that when you found yourself in these situations, you would know the right thing to say. And so some of these guides I got these from are titled things like The Amorous Gallant's Tongue Tipped with Golden Expressions, or The Art of Courtship Refined. And it was published in 1741 and claims to be sentences and forms of courtship to be used by gentlemen and ladies upon all occasions. So, you can never go wrong with this guide. Then there's The Lover's Best Instructor, or The Whole Art of Courtship, and The Lover's New Guide, or A Complete Library of Love. This one claims to give you full instructions for love, courtship, and marriage. And then it says, it may be proper to surmise that nothing is so diffident as genuine love. We therefore give the following detached sentences that memory may supply proper phrases in cases where unaffected courage might be wanting. So basically, they're saying love is super awkward, and when you're in the awkward moment and you don't know what to say, because you memorized this book, you'll know what to say. See? They're helping out all the romantics of the era. I think something that really fascinated me while reading these guides is how familiar it felt. So recently I did a video on a book called Evelina by Frances Burney. The men in that book, the way they talk to women, I'm like, this is some intense flattery and stuff. Anyway, while reading these guides, I'm like, now I know where the men in Evelina got all their lines. They're essentially variations on the themes of these books. And it's really interesting because I feel like you see it a lot less, I would say, in Pride and Prejudice, but every once in a while, Darcy will come off with some line that I'm like, you've been studying the guides, Darcy. So first up, the lines for the guys. And topic number one is pickup lines. Because of course, to get a girl, you gotta pick her up at some point. And there's a few different ways to do this. The top one is, of course, to compliment her beauty. And here are some things you might want to say. You could say, fairest of ladies, how shall I enough adore your charming person? How shall I sufficiently humble myself at your feet to let you know the greatness of the power you have over me? So there's a compliment beauty pickup line. Or here's another one. Fairest of all thy sex, conquered by your bright eyes, I come to offer up my captive heart, a victim at your feet. So yeah, make sure she knows that you've captured her heart with her beauty. And then of course, she'll definitely be yours. But if you don't want to seem like too extremely shallow and just interested in her for her beauty, then you might want to compliment her virtues or other charms. So you might say, ravished as my heart first was by your beauty, I am still more charmed with your virtues. So virtues are coming in. Or you could say, every single charm you bear about you has force enough to lay the stoutest champions at your feet. Because you don't want to seem weak, right? But she could lay out stoutest champions, so you're in good company because her charms have laid you out at her feet, I guess. There's a lot of feet involved in this. This one is universally applicable if she has good breath, which is, "Dear madam, the perfume of your sweet breath informs me that your mother fed on roses when she bred you," which bred was literally a word they used for pregnant back then. So when her mother was pregnant with her, she fed on roses because her breath is so sweet. So now you've complimented her beauty, you've complimented her charms and other qualities. What's up next? You gotta let her know that you are now essentially her servant. And there's a few different ways you can do that. One, you could say, "Madam, there is none of your commands that I'll refuse to yield obedience to, unless it be this cruel one, not adoring you." It's true, just be too cruel for her to ask you to stop liking her. So, but otherwise, you're now her obedient servant. Or if she's like, "Oh, you're so funny," this is how you can respond. You can say, "Madam, if I am witty, it is your beauty that makes me so, for that's the commandress of my thoughts." So, yep, her beauty is now commanding all your thoughts, and that's why you're funny. The Georgians really thought of everything, including this last censure. Now, the final way to really drive it home that you like this girl is to put your life on the line. And here's a few different ways you can do that. You can say, "It is your beauty, madam, that has kindled in my heart a flame of love that cannot be extinguished but with my life." So, I mean, nothing can kill your love except your death. Or you would say, "Madam, let me die and yet not know for what offense it is. I know no crime that I am guilty of unless it be of excessive love. But who can love too much when you are the charming object of its passion?" So she has nothing to accuse you of other than loving her so much. But like, how could you not love her so much? Because again, she's the charming object of your passion. Or you can just be very straight about the grave here, where it says, "It is upon your smiles my life depends. And if you frown upon me, not fate itself can save me from the grave." So just make sure she's not one of those girls that like frowns while like deeply in thought. Otherwise you're just gonna die. It's like, "She frowned upon me. I'm now dead." So much dramatic stuff is happening in the Georgian era here. And of course, the number one way to show that you like Georgian era flirting tips and this video is by pressing the like button. So definitely do that. Thank you. Now, what if you're hitting on this girl and she's just like, "Whatever, I don't even like you." Then that's when you let her know that you are not to be trifled with by saying, "When I find my love abused, I soon turn it into fury." So definitely like just go straight to the fury line there, apparently. Now, what if there's this girl who thinks you're hitting on her, but you're not? How do you let her know? It's like, "Hey, I'm not actually hitting on you. I'm trying to hit on your cousin, but not hitting on you." Then this is the line the guides have for you. First of all, you start off with "poor scornful girl." Then you let her know that she only has a small stock of beauty, which serves to convince you only that she's not extremely ugly. So the opposite of the pickup line of telling her she's pretty is to tell her she's not extremely ugly, I guess. So, I mean, there's a lot of beauty or lack of beauty happening in the Georgian world. Okay, but now say all of these pickup lines are working. You've got this girl alone and you're like, "I am going to try for a kiss." But then you kiss her and then she acts like she's offended. Like, can you believe this girl's offended by you randomly kissing her? Anyway, what do you do then? It's time for this line. You say, "If I have offended, I most sincerely ask your pardon." It's a good start, asking for pardon here. "But it was impossible to behold those pouting lips and not wish to press them." So then, defend yourself here apparently. "But if I have offended, I will not offend for nothing. The second kiss shall at once confirm my love and seal my pardon." So kiss her again. That is apparently the solution. If you kiss a girl and she's like, "Why did you kiss me?" The solution is to apologize, but then defend yourself and then be like, "I'm just gonna kiss you again," because that's the solution to this problem. So this is the dating advice from the Georgian era. So you've successfully picked up this girl, kissed this girl at least twice. Now you want to propose. What do? There's a few different ways to propose. One is to actually not propose at all. Skip asking her to marry you and just jump straight to having her start planning the wedding with this line. Say, allow me to hope that the ardor with which I have long addressed you and the repeated proofs I've given of the fervency of my passion may plead in my behalf. So, just be like, I've long been hitting on you, so you should have seen this coming. And then be like, and that I may at length presume so far in your goodness as to expect the reward of all my sufferings. AKA, I've suffered for you, I've hit it on you, you better not turn me down. Then you just go straight to, when will you name the happy day? And when shall I prepare the license and the ring? So, right, she pretty much should have seen this coming. Her goodness makes her have to say yes, so you just have to be like, when's the wedding day? Just jump straight to the point here. Now, if you don't want to be quite so forward, you like this girl, but maybe you're not entirely sure she'll say yes, then definitely mention your money. That's the next option here, is make sure to work in how rich you are to your proposal. And you can do that by saying, dearest of girls, be assured that large as my fortune is, if it were 10 times larger, I would with pride lay it at your feet. Take me then for life and mold me to your wishes. I shall never be happy till I can call you mine. So see how you mentioned my fortune, as large as it is, big fortune, you should say yes. See, these proposal ideas are foolproof here. Now, if the girl you like has a very dutiful daughter, she takes her parents seriously, you gotta include them in the proposal here. You could say, in a word, my ever-charming girl, I love you beyond all expression. But I would not make this free declaration of my passion till I had obtained your father's consent. On your decree, then, depends my future fate. See, you mentioned her dad. You're like, I already got permission. Don't worry about that. And of course, one other way to propose is to claim that your love is superior compared to all other love, right? Like nobody can love like you can love. Such as, no man ever loved woman as I love you. Your return of affection alone can ensure our mutual happiness. If marriage be your view as it is mine, say so at once and let us be happy. Let her know that you have outdone all men throughout all history who have ever loved anyone. That's sure to impress her. Now, what do you do after you've proposed and maybe she's dragging her feet? She's not really giving you an answer. Then what do you do? The answer is you react like Mr. Collins. Because everyone should react like Mr. Collins in this situation, right? You could say, trust me, I am in earnest. I must have an explicit answer. My passion is so fervent that it will no longer bear the pretty triflings of your sex. My sufferings have been extreme. Let your generosity put a period to them. So, the triflings of the sex, mention those. That's what Mr. Collins did. It's like, fashionable women, they turn down guys, but stop being like that. I know. Mr. Collins, he understood romance. So, did you find any helpful flirting advice in today's video? Hopefully you did. Especially if you ever plan to be transported back in time to the 1700s, then you will know exactly what to say. And next week we're going to be talking about the flirting tips for ladies, so make sure to subscribe if you're interested in learning those. My name is Ellie Dashwood, and this is my channel where I talk about classic literature history and apparently Georgian era flirting tips. Have an awesome day. Bye! So you might say to her, oh, tell me, thou epitome of sweetness, what services shall I perform? What world subdue to be professor of that bliss which lies in your power to make me happy? Wait, that doesn't go with that one. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I need water. Now I sound like I have a consumption. I can only record a video for so long before my voice just goes. Anyway, if you like classic literature or history and want to learn more, my name is Ellie Dashwood, this is my channel, that is my cat, and this has been Flirting Tips with the Georgians.